Welcome everybody to the session 2 of Global Interview Security Summit. And this time we are focusing on the BFSI segment. A bank gets a call, the new hire 3 weeks into the job just failed a background verification that should have happened before the offer letter. The role, risk and compliance. This isn't hypothetical. Versions of this are playing out right now across the BFSI organizations in India. This sector operates under some of the tightest regulatory scrutiny of any industry. The consequences of a bad hire aren't just operational, they are legal, reputational, and sometimes systemic. And yet, the hiring integrity challenge in BFSI isn't solved, it's evolving. Today's conversation isn't about what the playbook should look like, it's about what actually is happening on the ground, the challenges, the decisions being made in real time, and what's starting to work. I am Suru Philip, and I head customer success at Talview. Joining me today, there are three leaders who are navigating this from the inside. Samaksh Ji, a talent acquisition leader with almost 2 decades in the BFSI space, who's seen this sector transform and knows exactly where the pressure points are. Shabir Ahmed, heading staffing and HR systems at Karur Vaishya Bank, so sitting right at the intersection of hiring operations and banking compliance. And Ritu Arora, corporate vice president of HR at Canara HSBC Life, bringing the insurance sector lens to a conversation that affects both sides of BFSI equally. Welcome, Ritu, Shabir, and Samaksh. Thanks a lot for joining in.
Thanks,
I want to
Hello, everyone.
I want to start somewhere real, not frameworks or future strategies. I want to hear from each one of you about a specific challenge you have actually navigated. Think of it as your moment of truth on hiring integrity. It could be a process gap you discovered, a situation that changed how you screen, a decision that was harder than it should have been. Samaksh, you've been in the sector long enough to have seen it from multiple angles. I'll start with you. What's one specific challenge or situation around hiring integrity that shaped how your organization's approaches it today?
Nice question, Sanu. So recently we were supposed to hire about 40 modern data engineers. Now I'm saying modern data engineers because these are not regular data engineers. They are really modern. We are in back end, front end, including DevOps. Everything is combined together in the single role. Now, what happens is that these are roles, the new roles in the market, difficult to find candidates. And when we go out of the market, we get against one role, we get 50 applications, right? So as at a recruiter level, it is impossible to screen the resumes. It is impossible to validate which is a good resume or a bad resume. We had to deploy an automated tool on urgent basis, which eventually helped us in screening the resumes, not just screening. So no, we also enabled an assessment which filtered out not so relevant candidates and eventually helping the business in saving the interview time and also helping the candidates to get a better experience and helped us at the conversion level. Eventually, we were able to hire 40 modern data engineers.
Brilliant. That's very interesting, Samaksh, that while you're focusing on the entire aspect of policy and how it is, the experience of the candidates is also something that you were able to match up. So brilliant. Shabir, from your role heading staffing and HR systems at KBB, what's a hiring integrity challenge that's been real and messy to navigate for you?
Nothing with specific to KVB. Generally, if I look back in my journey in my previous associations also, see, the integrity is not something which is very obvious. The integrity issues come in the gray areas, which we find in the, right from the beginners to the senior most level hires also. So one specific thing which I wanted to maybe, bring it to the forum is, there was an incident where one of the senior level of hire, we almost finalized the candidate because the position has been vacant for quite some time. It's a business role, so a lot of pressure on HR and also the concerned vertical head to ensure closure. We almost finalized. It's like that was the candidate we've been waiting for. So to that level of fit. But then unfortunately, right, there was some negative feedback from the market. The BGV report was clear.
Okay.
And there's no regulatory bars. There's nothing on record per se, but usually when you hire at that level, right, you do a sort of ref check within the industry. So we got some negative feedback, which is not otherwise so easy for us to take it up. So we had to say no. So it's a revenue generating role. It's going to have a big impact. But all said and done, from an positioning standpoint of that role and the impact it's going to create, we had to take a hot call. So that is something which I wanted to bring it to the forum here. And I'm sure Samaksh and Ritu also will have similar experiences in their own industries.
Thanks for sharing that, Shabir. Ritu, on Canada HSBC Life is it right at the intersection of two regulatory domains, banking and insurance. What's one hiring integrity challenge that feels very specific to that world of yours?
Thanks, Sunu. It's not about Canada HSBC, BFSI sector or wherever I think in the industry where you're hiring front level and mass levels. This is a challenge. I always say that over my 25 years of experience, that when you're scanning a resume, you're technically underwriting a risk. So it has to be seen with that perspective, and all the enablers who make sure that your hiring is complete, all of them have to be brought together and in sync. To ensure that you put this entire integrity perspective onto your design. So, like, one important aspect is, yeah, that we do a lot of hiring through our vendor partners. It's very important because they're the first point of contact who's contacting a candidate, selling them our story. So it's very important that the story sold is right, and also they bring integrity to the table and to the entire process. So for that, we do a lot of engagements with our partners and we give them comfort. And because these vendors and partners also have like people who are working who leave in a short span of time. So it's important that you keep communicating and you're very constant with your communication that, there is no need to do these kind of changes in your resumes. We've done a lot of work in terms of analytics in identifying what are the reasons why BGs fail. So we go back and communicate the same to the vendors and ensure that, they're not repeating it. And rather, if we identify a belt or a cohort where we experience more BGV abnormalities than other locations, we do go back and say to every candidate at the end of the interview that we appreciate your job changes, we appreciate the gap, you took it from maternity, you had a medical health issue. We are appreciative of everything. We appreciate the diversity. So please put everything right on to your resume. So we do make an extra effort in terms of telling candidates and to our partners that while you are enabling us and getting the right person, let's together make sure that we have the right practices and compliances in the game.
Brilliant. Thanks a lot, Ritu. And I think me coming from the tech side, that version of yours where you're saying that you allow the culture where you allow the candidates to speak up, I think that's very synonymous to our worlds as well. So thanks a lot for bringing that perspective out. I want to put a real world dilemma right now on the table. These are the kind of decisions HR and TA leaders in the BFSI are actually making right now. There's no clean right answer to this, and I want your honest take on this, not the policy answer, but what you would actually do. This is around the speed versus security. So your hiring process now includes a robust integrity check, background verification, credential validation, digital identity screening. It all works, but it adds in 3 weeks of your time to join. The business is pushing you back. Leaders are saying we're losing candidates. Competitors are moving faster. Simplify this. So what do you do? Do you hold the line even if it costs you offers? Do you create a fast track tier for certain roles, or how do you decide which roles qualify? Has anyone actually faced this pushback, and what really happened?
It's an Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, Ritu.
I was just going to say that it's an everyday story we all HR folks are dealing with. But yes, HR is the one who's calling the shots, but not alone, in partnership with sales. This is the last pressure we want to give to sales that, the BGV is not correct and there's something that could happen. But yes, we do, we do fast track roles. We do have conversations. We do try taking a lot of offline, feedback on the candidate. But we don't want to compromise quality for time, but at the same time, we don't want to be the lazy ones who are taking forever on the on the BGV as well. So we understand business. HR is all about empathy. Otherwise, else nothing is in our own hand. So we understand there are business targets which are also on our head. So we make sure that we have a common platform and we bring the timelines to a level which is acceptable. At times, if we think things are going beyond and we're not getting a clearance, then we go out and do a lot of unsolicited interview conversations with people to figure out if all is fine.
Great.
Yeah, just to add to Ritu, in financial services, especially in banking, this integrity has to outweigh urgency. Okay, we all know that everything is urgent, nothing is not urgent here. So what maybe I would like to add to what Ritu said is, I would kind of bring them to a platform by asking questions like, will you feel good after 6 months of this hire? So at the same time, if there is a regulatory audit or inspection type of thing comes and sits on your table, will you be able to answer to this question? So those kind of questions, like maybe gives them a different perspective and then tries to make them think in the way we are thinking, because we are not an independent player in the game. We are also very much in the same game. We also have the skin in the game. So, but make sure that we will have to bring them to our orientation. Otherwise, their focus is very immediate term. So if I am hiring this guy, what is my immediate business result? So only that much is the perspective which they carry. So that's my take, Sunu, on this.
Thanks, Shabir. Samaksh, your
So a different perspective, and when I say different perspective, could be different organizations, could be different roles. When I say different organization, I never had one single policy in all the organization it worked for. So what is meeting the expectation of the market? You have to be realistic around that, right? So when we say the integrity issues, negative background verifications, where it happens at the junior level, right? Maximum it happens at the junior level. So how can we be more realistic in our approach at an organization level? Again, I don't want to comment on how certain organizations would managing it, but I would want to say that let's be a little flexible. Let's be more realistic. That what meets our expectation at an organization, I will design it accordingly. That's one. The second is we also touched upon that how can we ensure that candidates are also be cognizant of that they are also not doing this kind of silly mistakes of manipulating their resumes, right? So how can we be transparent around the communication? So if we are very transparent around the communication and we are writing in black and white at different places and different engagement activities, I think that is going to help really ease out the pressure from both the sides, the HR, the organization as a business, and the candidates.
Great. Thanks so much. I think some of that I see a general agreement across the three of you, because I think Ritu also touched upon the importance of how we communicate, and that's something which I see across all three of you. Great. Each one of you has tried different things in your organizations, in the experience that you have had across different organizations. Some of it has worked. I want one thing, one process change, or one technology decision, one policy call, or a mindset shift that you would actually recommend a peer in the BFSI industry looking to strengthen the hiring integrity. Not what on the roadmap, but what's working right now. So Ritu, first to you, what's that one thing you have done in your experience that has actually improved how you protect hiring integrity and that you would recommend?
Two things, Sunu, we have done which have helped us is we put a lot of our effort on recruiters, including asking sharper questions, also coaching them and training them on compliances and how should they identify these challenges on the resume. We also go back to our teams and circle back from the BGV teams on what kind of experiences location by location we are having, and then we try to plug those gaps. These two things have helped us in terms of covering up and improving our numbers and reducing our challenge. So yeah, I always say that recruiters are your first line of defense. If you coach them well and they learn the game of elimination, they will never get trapped into.
Brilliant. That's a real practical one. I think everybody has, and I think mostly the recruitment is the cream of the layer that kind of does this entire work. So the more you focus on that, it kind of helps the entire benefit. Thanks a lot, Ritu. Shabir, from your standpoint, anything that you think?
I'm agreeing to what Ritu is saying. The first line of defense will be the concerned recruitment team, but add to that a bit of technology flavor also. It's like the right time we have to embrace in which has yielded results. That's an experience which I'm sharing here. Whatever technology works, I'm not going to prescribe any specific technology, whichever works. But because this is a volume game, right? Especially in insurance and financial services, the attrition is so high. So you will have to backfill the positions and you will have the growth. For that, the portions has to be filled in. So adding the technology at the right place and in the right processes will definitely help. So one such thing is this proctoring based assessment, which I've been using with product from Dalview. It has saved a lot of time of my own team. So the time which they used to take for clearing the assessing the answer sheets or the proctoring feature, especially the flags which we get, right, that's really helpful. So my take on this would be to embrace technology, add whatever flavor level you want, the level of customizations you have to do. That would definitely add up to the recruiters. Maybe in your parlance, Ritu, that will be our fall back to the first line of defense, because they are own team members, right? We can't let them fail. So this will give them
Yes.
some solace. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Shabir. I'm sure all on the Talview side will be happy to hear a comment. So some clippings will go after the summit with yours echoing around with this. But thanks a lot. I think rightly said, I think technology always helps in some manner to kind of the human in the loop kind of get some benefit out of that. Thanks a lot, Shabir, for that context. Samaksh, from your vantage point across the BFSI industry, was the single highest leverage intervention you would recommend to any TA leader trying to genuinely upgrade things?
I would want to still say that one size doesn't fit all. Every organization has own its challenges and nuances. I think it is important to understand what are the cultural elements which are hurting the most. If you are able to identify the pattern, if you are able to identify which roles, which market, which location, which seniority it is hurting most, if you are able to identify, I think you will be able to solve the problem. The other thing, as I said, I would recommend that we need to be a little flexible. I don't recommend that we do background checks for the entire previous experience, all the experiences a person may have worked for. Pick the most realistic last organization, maybe where again, if it is hurting at the junior level, pick the last organization, highest education, maybe address verification, and that's about it. Use it diligently, not to reject the candidates, but to ensure that we are meeting the expectation of the leaders in the organization.
Great. Three very different answers, and all three are real, which tells you in the audience it's something that there's no universal playbook here. I think the right starting point depends on where your gaps actually are, which brings me to the actual final round. I'm going to be trying to wrap this in 3 minutes. It's a rapid fire close that I call it. One question each, one honest line, no discussion. Samaksh, I'm going to be starting with you. Complete this sentence. The one thing BFSI is still getting wrong on hiring integrity is?
Not using AI much, yeah.
Okay.
Still a lot of scope of including AI, involving AI as an enabler in the background verification.
Thanks, Samaksh. Shabir, the technology to solve this excess. So why hasn't BFSI solved it? One line.
See, it's not that banking is not embracing technology, Sunu. They are very much embracing, and there are early adopters as well. But only point which differentiates banking and financial service from other industries, we are asking a different question altogether. Whether this particular technology will satisfy our purpose, the regulatory requirements, whether it will put the candidate at ease, so on and so forth. So basically, it's not that we are averse to technology. Only thing is, from this perspective, we ask different set of questions which technology has to answer. Only that is the difference.
Got it. That was more than one line, but yeah, I think good context. So thanks a lot, Shabir, for that. Ritu, 5 years from now, is hiring integrity in BFSI better, worse, or the same? One word, one sentence, maybe.
Scary, but maybe worse.
Okay. Well, Samaksh, Shabir, and Ritu, this has been exactly the kind of conversation that this space needs, not abstract theory, real decision, real trade-offs, and real stakes. If you're watching this from a BFSI organization, I hope you found at least one thing you can take back and use, whether it's a process question you haven't asked yet, a dilemma you have now language for, or just a reassurance that leaders who are doing this well are still figuring out too, along with all of you in the audience. That's the honest truth about hiring integrity in BFSI right now. Zero tolerance as a goal, zero playbook has a reality. And that's the organizations, and the organizations that are winning are the ones willing to build the playbook in real time. Thanks everybody for joining. I really appreciate Samaksh, Shabir, and Ritu for your time on this. It's been a really engaging one, and I really appreciate all three of you being so engaged and then making this interaction really interactive. Really enjoyed. I hope you three enjoyed as well.
Pleasure is meant, Sunu. Thank you so much.
Sunu. Lovely meeting Shabir, Samaksh.
Yeah,
Same here.
same
Thank
here,
you.
Ritu.
Thank
so
you.
much.
Great.
Bye.
Thanks a
you.
lot.
Bye.